Hi, I'm Lynn Bridgeford from Either Bios, and today in our series on mental health and coaching, we're going to be talking about celebrating wins. So what are wins? We celebrate things like birthdays, like Christmas. Not everybody likes them, not everybody likes celebrations. There are many complex reasons why we may not. What we're looking at today is how to find all those little wins in life that we can celebrate, feel good about ourselves, so that they all add up and bring us into a better feeling of self-worth, of connectedness, and of purpose. So what are wins? Yes, finishing a degree is a massive win. Reaching a long-term goal is definitely a win, and in my feeling to be celebrated. What about those little steps along the way? What about, for some people, just getting up in the morning is something to celebrate? Maybe your mental health has been less than ideal, and getting up can seem like a big thing, and those days that you manage to just get out of bed, get dressed, even think about putting a smile on your face. Each one of those can be a big win if it's something that you find less easy. When getting up in the morning, going about your day, is easy as anything and something you do without even thinking, and you buzz through your day, that's not a big win for you. That's just your normal. For somebody, just getting up out of bed, either because they've had mental health issues or physical health issues, sometimes even just being able to sit up is a win to be celebrated. And look at what we go through in life as we learn. When babies learn to lift their heads, when they learn to sit up or stand up or take their first steps, they're absolutely joyous because there's lots and lots of things that have happened to get them to that point. And I think we should be as joyous as babies and find those little bits to celebrate. When I teach my yoga students to do something, for example, grabbing their hands behind their back, that moment that they grab their hands, they're joyous, they celebrate, they're very happy that they've done it. What about all the steps along the way? So we have a look at measuring it with a belt perhaps, or looking from behind, and sometimes that distance is large, and yet that last little distance that we celebrate is not so large. So what about celebrating each distance that we step along the way? Take the opportunity to celebrate. Driving in your car down the road to the shops might seem absolutely normal. If it's the first time you've ever done it, it's huge. It's a massive celebration to be able to get in the car by yourself and drive somewhere. And that may not only be when you've just learned to drive, it may be the first time you drive after an accident and you've got the courage and the strength to do it. It may be the first time you've driven since your partner passed away and they used to do all the driving. That is a massive celebration, to be able to regain skills. When I'm training people to learn to stand on one leg, it's very important to get the setup right. You root your foot into the floor, you engage your core, you focus, you look at something that's not going to move, you bring one leg up. Even if you hold it for a microsecond, that's a triumph. And each little microsecond adds up until you can do that eventually for 30 seconds, which I've taught many people to do. And then you can do it for 30 seconds with your eyes closed, and the next step would be moving your head. I love watching my students do things that used to be really challenging, and they do them without thinking, so I love to remind them what it was like. Putting your fingers together, no challenge. Take index finger to thumb, join the other three, and then underneath. That's not a challenge when you're used to it. In the beginning, people would pull faces and stick their tongues out because it's a massive concentration. So learning an instrument, learning to play the piano or the guitar or any instrument, just getting a decent sound out of a wind instrument, each note can be a triumph. Each little movement, it takes a lot to get a good note out of a saxophone, to place your fingers well on a guitar, to get the right timing on a piano. And when you can do these things well, it's just second nature, because we've trained the unconscious mind, we've trained the muscle memory, we've trained patterning, and so many of these things are so good for our brains. Dancing sequences, music, singing, it's all really good for our brains. How often do you celebrate the fact that you can see, that you have vision to take in the beauty around you? How often do you celebrate the fact that there is beauty around you that you can see or hear? How often do you celebrate that you have good hearing? And if you don't, you may be celebrating that you have the ability to have hearing aids to help your hearing, or glasses or lenses to help your vision. We have many things in life to help us. So let's celebrate the advances in science that give us the ability to improve facilities and faculties that may be less able than they were before. And what about the little things in life that nobody else sees? The fact that you can learn to tie your own shoes when you're a kid. That's a big deal. Later we take it for granted unless you've lost the ability by an injury. There is something about being incapacitated that teaches us to be grateful when we manage to regain our capacities. And that can be on a mental level as well. Everyone has challenges that nobody else is necessarily aware of, whether it's to get up and go out and face the world, whether it's to get on a bus or drive a car, whether it's to eat well or actually eat in the morning or eat in the evening. I find it very helpful to separate, if you've been out in the world at work and you come home, rather than bringing work home with you, change clothes, have a shower, change the energy. Rather than coming home and having a drink and then having another one of the getting to eat, come home, set the day at rest. A shower is a great way to have spiritual cleansing, or even just change your clothes. Think about what you want to eat, and if you want to have a drink, then have a drink while you're making your food, so you still eat well. For some people these can be little though massive triumphs that can be life-changing. So have a look at your life and see where there are things that you would rather do differently. If you need help to change them or to see them differently, then it's a powerful thing to get help and celebrate that you're able to do that and that help is available. And take the baby steps to change your life in a more positive way. No matter how good life is, we always want to evolve and be better versions of ourselves, and to feel happier in our lives, in our relationships, in what we do, in our work, our profession, and to have that good feeling about ourselves that we are giving ourselves the best possible opportunity to enjoy life to the full. And that involves people, animals, work, and most of all ourselves. So celebrate those wins. Find a way to celebrate, pat yourself on the back, just say, yes, I did it, that was great. And if someone says to you, you did really well, go, thank you, that felt great, or wasn't it good? If celebrating with the world doesn't feel like what you want to do, celebrate with yourself. Celebrate that you are alive and you are here. If you're breathing and you're alive, you're not done yet. So let's celebrate and enjoy life to the full. Thank you so much.